What I came to realize over the course of my career was the further up the ladder that you continue to climb, the more compression in your margins that continue to happen. People kind of depended on you to take care of all the problems, so the more problems we got.
Were you nervous of letting go of all that leadership role?
No, I couldn't wait.
24/7 Mindset community. Thank you for making time to connect. So I'm super excited, not only because we've got a 24/7 Mindset graduate here, but also an Aspire loan officer. So welcome to the show, Aaron.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember when, you and I have had similar career paths, and you start off as a loan officer, you become the senior loan officer, then you become like the assistant manager and the branch manager and the regional. And what's kind of refreshing is you walked away from all those leadership titles, focused on your business, and now you're making more money than most people could ever imagine.
Yeah. What I came to realize over the course of my career was the further up the ladder that you continue to climb, the more compression in your margins that continue to happen, the more people kind of depended on you to take care of all the problems, so the more problems we got. So more problems, less time in my personal life, less margins in my current business. Now, there was a nice piece that I could actually start making a little bit of money off of everybody else's production, right? So then, but with that came, what are you doing to
all
earn
their problems?
Yeah, their problems. And then when the problems are none, then it's, why are you making money off my production? And then it's just like, you can't win.
Yeah.
And so, and as companies' margins or company volumes compress, the first person to go is typically the fat in the company, right? Or the management.
Yeah.
What I've realized over this long career of mine in the mortgage business, which I've only been doing it since 2008, but watching my father, who's been doing it for far longer, do it as well. You only are as good as your most recent production. Mm-hmm. And so it's key to keep your finger and your pulse and focus on production and growing your personal business, and not trying to be the lords of the layer or make money off of everybody else's production.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's always comical. And I remember, unfortunately, I fell in the same trap. And what's comical about it is, as a loan officer, when things are going really well, I thought that the company was making too much money off me. When things are going really poorly, I thought the company was making too much money off me. And I don't think in my whole entire career I've ever given the company credit for the foundation and platform that they built. I think as a loan officer, we've got this delusional mindset of we are the ones that make it rain. We're doing all this work. And I think, unfortunately, what I've learned now, and a CEO and founder, and unfortunately an owner of a company, or fortunately, some days not, is that it's funny when a loan officer makes 300 basis points on a loan, but the company makes a small sliver, they've got no problem with that. But when the company makes about, say, 50% of the profit, and they make 50% because they gave away all the profit, now they've got a problem with that. Have you ever felt that feeling when you're in leadership?
Oh, absolutely. You can make yourself feel both sides of the transaction, both sides of the coin. So thinking back to when I was in leadership or helping manage a big branch, there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes that you're doing. Mm-hmm. That a lot of people don't realize because it just feels so easy on the loan officer side too. Yeah. So I'd say it swings both ways.
And so we had an email chain earlier today, and I'm sitting there, I'm typing all this back out to you. I'm like, compliance, HR, payroll, Fannie Freddie, call reports. I'm typing all this shit out. I'm like, good Lord. There is so much crap to do behind the scenes of running your own company that you never have those lenses as being a loan officer.
Yeah, just getting back to the basics of being a loan officer, not having to worry about all the stress and everything else that goes in the business side that you don't realize until you've done it, and you put yourself in the shoes and you're like, oh wait, there's a lot to this. Just getting back to the basics of being able to close loans and focus on my own life, my own production, just made life so much easier.
Well, I remember when we started talking, I think it was maybe Q4 of 2024 together. You joined us January-ish of 25. And you were wanting out of the leadership role previously that you were at in that whole career. Yep. What was so difficult for you? Obviously, margin compression and challenges financially happened, but you're making more profitability per loan now than you've probably ever made in your career.
Yeah, just the caps that they were putting on my compensation, so that they could give that back to the client, which never really happened, but getting those caps, I do a lot of larger loan amounts. And so for me, that was one of the major things. It's like, hey, I don't want to be capped on, if I can go sell something to a client and a client's happy to take what we're selling, why can't we all win here?
It's been pretty neat to see your commissions. I think you, and we'll keep names out of it, but you had one deal last month that it was like $1 million, $2 million deal, and you made full 275 basis points on it. And at the end of the day, like, you're in the process of helping out a client, but it's beautiful when you get all the financial upside from helping out that client. That's what you mean by, if the client's happy, why can't you make more money?
Yeah, exactly. So we all win together. The client comes to me ultimately because they can't get things done.
Yeah.
Whether that be with their private banker or whatever situation they're in, they can't figure out a way to get it done. And so we come fix the problem, and we want to get paid. We're like the elite of the loan officers, and so we want to be paid for our services.
It was funny. It was like the loan officer asked me to see my P&L, so I showed it to him as a loan officer P&L, and he goes, "How the heck did you make?" It was like 425 basis points off one deal, and I said, "It was tax returns were 1,300 pages." Had 71 K1s and 46 rental properties. Got turned down by 4 other different lenders and literally took us about 2.5 days just to calculate income. So yeah, we're going to charge more.
Yep.
Because 1, no one else could do this loan. 2, it's a ridiculously difficult loan. 3, it's going to take us an arm and a leg of time to be able to do it. And like it's pretty neat to get paid now in the wholesale space for the effort that you put out there versus in the retail space, the caps.
Absolutely, and it makes me incentivized to do a better job on everything that I do, including putting together mortgage presentations. You know, going through all the details with the client, you feel so much better. The reward is there for the effort.
Yeah,
so it's nice.
So when you look at like your world previously in the responsibilities, were you nervous of letting go of all that leadership role?
No, I couldn't wait. We had there's meetings on top of meetings and calls. Such a waste of life, it felt like to me. I mean, there's some valuable stuff along the way, but a lot of the valuable meetings that we had could have been put together in an email. So I was excited to get out of the management piece. And honestly, I didn't feel like I was doing enough to earn the override commission that I was taking off these loan officers. Because once you get them rolling and once you get them started and kind of set into the process, you've done your job, and now you're there to kind of guide them. But for me, there was a little bit of a guilty feeling for that. So I was excited to kind of just shift out of that and focus on what I could do personally.
It's great that you have that high level of integrity and character that you want to make sure you provide that value of it. I wouldn't take away credit from the effort of recruiting somebody, the effort of onboarding somebody. And you and I both know when you're recruiting somebody, onboarding somebody, you're losing money.
Yeah, you got to make that up too.
So you've got to make up that time.
And then all the behind the scenes that continues to happen on a day-to-day basis. You can't forget about it. It's
100%.
But again, it was nice to just be able to plug into a system, take off all the day-to-day grind and responsibility of all the meetings and the spreadsheets and all the stuff outside of your business. So it was nice to get out of that and kind of just, all right, let's kind of build a business within the business.